You know, ladies and gentlemen, you might be wondering, how do we top what happened last night on Sportswire Radio, where we had all these people still here, 1:30 in the morning. James Taylor returns to the ring for the first time in a year. Well, you know what? I can assure you, tonight will be a lot better than, let's say, when, I don't know, Gabe Shayers went from Connecticut to Tennessee, because this guy knows a few things or two. He's taught Gabe Sayers, I'm sure, a few things outside the ring, but this guy here has really done it all. Because when you think about it here, there's very few people I can honestly say that we've had on in Sportswire Radio's lore that truly is one of the very best. And we think about one of the more unique, underrated, innovative game changers in our sport, past, present, and future. This man has done it all. This man has wrestled a who's who of people that you've seen in the underground, the professional wrestling circuit. Of course, you have to start off with this guy, Jacob Fatu, who's only been, been beating up Cody Rhodes recently. Well, this guy here wrestled him a year ago, and that's why Jacob Fatu decided, you know what? After wrestling the Tarzanian Devil, maybe I just want to go bother Cody Rhodes instead. This man has wrestled the likes once upon a time Joey Janela. Everybody talks about Joey Janela. How about that match with JJ Escobar? Oh, I don't know. What's it got? 4,600, 700 plus views on YouTube already? What about Mikey Fatality? Oh, I'm sure I'll talk about that. Jimmy Controversy, I'll be sure to bring him up, but I won't spend too much time on him because, after all, Tarzan Duran doesn't want to talk about him. Dirty Ron, definitely not going to talk about Dirty Ron so much. Angel Santiago, the Puerto Rican Prince, well, definitely the Puerto Rican Prince is still running from him. How about V. Daniel a couple of weeks ago? Boy, I won't mention that kind of shot. Well, let's just say it was a chock full of nuts. How about everything that this man has done? And yet there's two big matches coming up. Well, two really, really big names in our sport. Well, how about this Saturday? This guy I'm sure a lot of people have heard of, Mr. Kennedy, a.k.a. Ken Anderson. He's wrestling him this Saturday. And, I don't know, 3 weeks from Saturday, Drake Younger. I could keep going and going and going. And even a guy that I actually know through what a small world this wrestling circuit is, this guy, Jordan Oliver. Our guest here wrestled. I'm sure I'm missing at least 300, 400, 500 names because, when you think about the definition of a professional wrestler, this man, ladies and gentlemen, is the true definition of that. And also, in his spare time, I don't even know how he has any spare time. He dabbles a little bit on the guitar. He even teaches those the right way to do things in our circuit. And I'll make sure to bring up some guy that was here not too long ago in J.J. Stevens. I won't spend too much time on all these people because everybody I know wants a piece of this man. I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, this will be one you're going to remember. And there's no better way than to kick this week off here in Sportswire Radio in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters. And ladies and gentlemen, this man has been at the forefront of that for well over a decade. There isn't anybody that doesn't know him. And boy, did Grimm still try to put him on trial or put him in prison? Well, I'm not even going to ask him about that. There's so much I could ask this man, but it is a true treat to have him. And, I'm going to give him something that I can guarantee. I know he's done all these different podcasts before, and he's, been interviewed by these wankers and different guys like that. But this is different tonight. You know why it's different? Before I introduce our guest, I'm going to actually introduce him the way that he should be introduced. I'm going to give him a resounding introduction that I can promise you it'll be better than the ones that Angel Santiago got. It'll be better than the ones certainly Gabe Sayers got, and most certainly Jimmy Controversy has gotten. I'll make sure there's plenty of controversy with this introduction. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce this man. And I know people are here in the chat already. They're excited. I'm excited. Let's kick it off and give this man, well, you might want to say that Tarzanian-like introduction he deserves. So with without further ado, on the Sports Report, Marvel Sports Show, the man that has been making people bleed. He is, simply put, the most unique, underrated, innovative, game changer of our pro wrestling circuit today. His name is, simply put, the Tarzan Devil Tarzan the My friend, how are you?
Doing great, dude. Doing great, man. How are you?
Ask me after my second show in a few hours from now. My voice will be, but like every other day, we just keep on going here. So obviously, it's not about me. It's about you, sir. It's an absolute honor to have you. And there's a lot of people I know that have been waiting for this one for a while over the past few days because all I've been saying is Tarzan Duran is coming, and you better certainly tune in. But how you feeling right now, my friend? How you doing tonight?
Doing good today, man. Doing good today. Had a crazy, crazy weekend with a really rough death match last night. So today has just been a chill out, heal up day.
How do you heal up? Because you're not just one guy that goes out there and takes some styrofoam shots, just goes out there for a couple of minutes, greets the fans. So you go out there and put yourself through light tubes, put yourself through all these different things, do these Herculean moves, and still has the blunt in his mouth. I mean, so how do you have a rest day and recover from everything you go through, my friend?
Well, that's when I do death matches. I smoke the blunts and all that. And so since I just did a death match yesterday, I mean, I have like a couple nice little cuts. I got one nice one on my stomach, a couple nice ones on my back.
Ooh.
Got some bandages on right now. So, of course, I went to the lake. Instead of like full jumping in and doing backflips and shit, I just settled for just going on the tube and just chilling. And
Chilling
yeah,
like a
so
villain, as they always say. Chilling like a villain.
yeah,
Yeah.
chilling out in the warm water, had some ice packs and stuff. So yeah, it was
How
pretty
was the
chill.
water today? The audience wants to know, how was the water specifically in the lake where you were? How was it? Hopefully it was better than let's say the sprinklers that I used to go through as a kid growing up in Brooklyn. Let's just hopefully it was better than that.
Dude, it's like warm as a jacuzzi. It's perfect in there. Yeah, it's
Well,
great.
I'm sure you could definitely, use that. I'm sure I'll talk about what happened this past week, and I'll definitely get into that shortly. But I want to talk to you about a match that you have coming up actually this Saturday. I'm going to put the poster up here for those that are listening and watching here. So you have wrestled a lot of people. I talked about just a small fraction of the names that you've wrestled, but you have a guy you're wrestling coming up that you actually haven't wrestled before. And who's a name that a lot of people obviously know very well, that is Ken Anderson. I even gave you kind of the Mr. Kennedy-like introduction for him, and you're going to be wrestling him here this Saturday. And I got to ask that question for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters. What can we expect from you, Tarzan Duran, coming up against the one and only Ken Anderson?
Oh man, people in Lancaster, the Three Legacy Wrestling crowd, they have been seeing me there since day one of Three Legacy Wrestling. And it's really, really amazing that Ricardo Rodriguez or Jesus has gotten me this awesome, awesome match. Of course, he knows that ultimately I'm going for the title. I know he's kind of been like keeping me away from the title picture. That's why he's trying to give me Ken Anderson to try to throw me off to see if I'm worthy enough. And I feel it. I feel it, man. But it's been one hell of a year over there. And dude, I'm ready. I'm ready to throw down. Ken Anderson, I mean, he better be training right now. I'm ready to go.
Oh, he better
My
be ready
stamina's
for
up.
you. Absolutely. He hasn't wrestled really a guy like you that I could think of in recent memory. I mean, I know he's wrestled a who's who of guys, but you're different. You're different than, some of his previous rivalries and previous wars. We've seen him in places like TNA and certainly in that little old company called WWE.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm ready to go war with him, man. Let's see. I know he's getting older. He's getting old, so let's see if he can keep up with me. Let's see if he can still dance with the devil.
Well, that's a good point, you make because he hasn't wrestled as much as he did, obviously, in his heyday. When you're talking about, 200 to 300 dates a year, and I kind of say it in a way, you are that definition of a pro wrestler. You remind me so much. There's a guy that I know in the UK named Martin Kirby, and Martin Kirby is literally wrestling like every other week. So you've obviously got that experience, and you've wrestled pretty much every weekend. Do you think that gives you an advantage going into a match like this? You're the guy that's kind of been out there much more active, let's say, than a Ken Anderson of late.
All right, so you call me here on a Monday. Monday, this is my relaxed day. Tuesdays I'm wrestling. I'm doing show, doing GTS. Wednesdays, I'm training at CCW. I'm running classes. Thursday, I'm doing GTS again. Friday, I'm either doing a show or running an advanced class at CCW. Saturday, I'm always wrestling. Sunday, I'm always wrestling. So this is my relaxed day right now. I'm constantly wrestling all week around. Like
No, it
constantly.
reminds me of Martin
So,
Kirby, a guy in the UK that, I kind of know. We spoke here and there. I haven't interviewed him, but he's a guy I know, and that's what he does. And, I'm curious on some of this. I know a lot of people want to talk to you. I'm going to get to as many people as I can. Plus, there's a surprise for you in the chat. Boy, that's kind of how the world certainly turns here in this world, which I knew would happen because unlike other places you've done, this is a different environment. You'll probably be more welcomed here. But let me ask you this question. You
awesome.
you you train a lot of people in CZW, and what's different when you train your students first when you go out there in the ring? I never really asked anybody that. So what's different for you when you train your students first when you go out here and wrestle these shows like with a Ken Anderson?
I mean, it depends on the students. I gotta kind of like know where all the students are at to, to know what I gotta teach them that day. So I kind of find that out with different drills. Um, yeah, and and I wrestle all these different styles. Like lately I've been doing like comedy randomly at times. I do the death match, do the lucha libre. I can do the strong style. I can do the old school. So I'm expecting with Mr. Anderson, it's probably going to be a pretty brutal old school match. So
Is there a style that you enjoy particularly? I know you've been. I mean, a lot of people know you certainly from XPW, GTS, GCW. I mean, POR. I mean, there's so many places people know you from. But is there one style that you particularly? I've never heard really anybody ask you that question. I'm just curious for my audience here.
yeah, so like when I first started, I was taught how to wrestle like real old school style. Um, which it was like a vicious, but it's just like that old school style. And I
Sure.
did that for like quite a few years. As I was like main eventing all around North Carolina, and doing all these like awesome like 20-minute matches all over the place. And then I started watching the Lucha guys, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. I kind of had this like old school style kind of down. I don't really know how much farther I can go with this, but when I start fucking with the Lucha a little bit, and that's been one of my favorite styles. I feel like it's misunderstood with a lot of people at times. Like talking about like other wrestlers at times don't fully understand it. Sometimes they
Mhm.
think that all lucha is just crazy high flying stuff. I mean that's what it's known for. The only real difference is in lucha libre they know how to lock up right, or they know how to lock up right and left. Americans are just more ignorant and just like nah, just left. It's gotta be this way. It's gotta be just one way. What right? That's crazy. You know.
Well, I'm a New Yorker, so I'm probably like the biggest example of that. So I certainly hear that all the time. It's kind of so funny that you say that because I've actually heard from because I'm friends with a lot of British guys overseas, and I mentioned Jordan Oliver. I have a connection with Jordan Oliver. He did a tour up there about maybe 6 months ago or so now, just about it. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I
funny
remember.
you said that. And what since you know a lot of these styles and you're training what do you particularly try to train your students most in? What do you do all these styles? Is there one that you try to in CZW maybe try to train them most to get them ready for when they want to go out there and eventually when you think they're ready to compete?
Um, I mean, that's a tough question, but yeah, everything always differs. I mean, like Yeah, right now it's just getting them moving good. I mean, there's so many different aspects of what goes into training.
Sure. Do
So
you
it's
feel that things have changed? I know you started out in 2006, and I know you basically kind of had an interesting way into the business. Reminds me of a friend of mine, Dean Allmark, who pretty much just showed up one day and 20 years later, he pretty much was wrestling 300 days a year. What do you think has changed from when you started back out in 2006 for, let's say, the prospective students you have now? I know people I'll get to the comments. I know they want to say hello, but I think it's important because I do have a lot of guys here that some of them are trained, some of them are not, some of them might be deciding to train. So I'm curious in what do you think has changed from, let's say, 20 years ago?
so I mean, it always I feel has like kind of depended on where you go to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not if you say like 40 or 50 years ago. Now you're talking about a really, really big difference.
Sure, a big sample. Sure.
But when I started professionally wrestling was 18 years ago in 2006. I went to a more old school style place. Now there's other places that I could have went to that would have been more lucha based and and all those types of things. So it really depends on where you go. But talking about like Jordan Oliver, I did his second match, and I didn't believe him when he told me this shit. He's like, "Yeah, bro, I wrestled you my second match, and you tagged with Coco Beware." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "I tagged with Coco Beware," and I'm like, "No way, dude." He's like, "Yeah, bro, it's like you and Coco Beware against me and somebody else. I forget who." But yeah, I didn't believe him. And then like about a year and a half later or something, he's like, "Yo, it finally came up in my memories." And he showed me like a little quick video or like a picture or something. But
Wow.
anyway, so after that day that I worked with him that day, I ended up telling him like this is the part that I do remember. I was like, bro, I'm like, like you're good, like you got like some potential and shit like that. You just gotta be trained. He's like, yeah, I'm not training right now. I'm out in like Newburgh, New York. Like, I'm like there was something, he wasn't training, whatever. So I had him end up I had him stay in my basement for a little bit at being my girl's place. I had my son there and everything.
Sure.
And yeah, so I had him staying in the basement. And I was taking him to like CCW and I think it was like Warriors of Wrestling or like
Oh, I
BW.
know Warriors. That's actually right. That's like
Yeah,
about 15 minutes from my house. The Warriors of Wrestling down
yeah.
in
So
Staten
I
Island.
took him to
I could literally go. I'm 10 minutes from my house. I know it very well. Yes.
nice. Yeah, so I took him to like a bunch of like different wrestling schools for a little bit, and just to kind of give him like a nice like push start. And yeah, man, it's awesome. Like he's like one of my like, good friends.
Yeah, he's a
Like
great guy. I
yeah,
was supposed to have interviewed him. The promoter was a unfortunately the timing didn't work out, but they love him in the UK. Oh my God, they love him there. He wrestled and I think a couple of promotions there. He did the tour. He was one of those guys like a Franco Varga who just goes out there.
nice.
And I'm sure, I don't know if you know Franco, and I interviewed Franco like 3.5 years ago. And he's one of those guys, when he goes there, he's there for like weeks at a time. And, Jordan is definitely one of those people. And, what a small world. I'm sure I'll come back to. There's a lot of people that want to say
Yeah.
hello. Let me get to everybody because I know I only got so much time out there. My resident bot is Zilla, and she'd like to say hello, Tarzan, and hello, Tom. All wrestling matters. The man that it's his platform, his show. I hope he's doing well out there. Mr. Omen Black. He is the apparent architect of violence. He's apparently a boogeyman of the Midwest and a hardcore god, but he'd like to say shout out to you. My good buddy, Mr. Comatose, who gave me a nice shirt basically calling me the voice of the BYW. He's here in your chair next Monday night. He says good evening. Also, Soldier GP. Soldier GP was the architect of Summer Bash, which had 12 different feds in the underground, in the backyard, the Independence in Bremen, Ohio. Like to say, how's it going? Skulls the Soul Hunter is now unsainted. Says, what's up, Tarzan? Fear the Night hashtag. I want to say hello to the Big Bad Silverwolf. Wants to say what up. He's also a podcaster. Hillbilly Tilly, the general manager of the Alliance Wrestling League, he would like to say hello. And Nicholas Crenson. And let me get to this one guy here specifically because he had a comment on X, and his name is Sergeant Jimmy Controversy. He calls you the E. And he also wants to remind me that you and him are the only two intelligent individuals on the East Coast, and it was just confirmed today. Do you want to confirm or deny that, or what?
I don't know. I just don't even acknowledge Jimmy half of the time.
I think that's most people kind of that would come on here usually say, and I know he's got his hands full usually on this platform because guys in the Carnage Cup, IWA Deep South scene have been giving him certainly some issues. So I'll leave that at that. And he also wanted to point out before I get to my next comment, wanted to say, why are you on GTS in days I'm training?
That's the only days that I go Tuesdays and Thursdays at GTS.
And he wanted me to, I guess, the hand raise. So I don't know what the hand raised for, but yes, I got the comment. And thank you, Sergeant Controversy. Also, my friend Sean Jovi, want to give him a shout out. My guest Thursday night, he's going to be here, I believe, around 10 o'clock Eastern time. I could move it up. We'll certainly stay tuned for that. But wants to say he recognizes you. You wrestled in GCW for Backyard Wrestling 6. I guess I'll ask it because Sean Jovi is one of my biggest supporters, closest friends for the past 2+ years. And what was your experience like being in GCW? GCW, everybody talks about, and what was that experience like for you?
Well, with GCW, actually, like, well, actually, like when GCW first started up, I ended up getting like a knee injury, and Brett actually was like asked me to be a part of GCW at the time, and well, he asked me about it, but like my knee was fucking bad. I ended up doing 2 shows where like my knee was like totally like swollen, fucking stiff. And so I was just like running around, limping around the ring. I mean, I made it work, but then I was like, all right, I gotta take some time off. So I ended up taking time off and going into a whole bunch of other stuff. And now that I'm like back doing my Tarzan thing, yeah, like they had me on the GCW Backyard 4, 5, and now 6. So that's cool. I'm becoming like a little stable on the GCW Backyard. So that's really awesome. Hopefully, I can start doing more of the GCW shows. I did a couple other GCW shows, but I'm still waiting for like a big match over there. To like give me something like Akira or like I don't know, give me like Jordan Oliver over there or something.
I would love to see you and Jordan Oliver square off again. I would love. I know what Jordan's capability.
Yeah, we killed it in California at Oasis Pro. Yeah, we had a great match out there. That was a blast.
Yeah, he's a guy that brings a lot to the table, and I know those guys over there love him. But I want to see you come back with him. Zilla appreciates you and all the hard work. I think I had another. Oh, there we go. I missed it here. Skulls met you at XPW in Los Angeles. I don't remember when that was, but yes, that was cool. And obviously JJ Escobar. Everybody talks about that match still. I'll definitely bring up the matches in a second, in short. I want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Chaotic. Chaotic made his sort of debut kind of yesterday. We'll get him into a full slot next week. But he says, how's it going, Tarzan Duran? I know he's done a little bit of training as well in his own right. So he'd like to say hello and everything else in between. Okay, so we got some of that out of the way. And I actually have a match of yours I want to put up on the screen against Mr. V. Daniel. I'll put it up for a little bit. I'm not going to put the full match because I have so many things I could ask you, but I have it on your page. And while I do that here, before anything else, I want to make sure people follow you. Because if you're out here for the first time, this man is a true legend. We are so honored that he is here right now in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage. Please go out there and follow him. You can follow him on Facebook. You can follow him on so many other platforms. You need to make sure you support him. This man has literally given his life for us here. He has been one of the people that has really helped create our movement of All Wrestling Matters. This man has done it all. Let's go out there and support those that have given us the opportunities to be here. And we thank, obviously, the one and only Mr. Tarzan Duran. I figured, since I've been kind of taking up what they do with the Manning cast, I figured I'd put up your most recent match on the screens. I know I got to get to a few others, but what are we seeing here? You're wrestling V. Daniel. This was 2 weeks ago. I took it from your YouTube page, which everybody please hit that sub button for. Death Riot 6170. I have subbed on 3 of my YouTube channels. And just talk to me about what we're going to see. I'll save the end of the match. I'll fast forward some of it in a few minutes. But talk to me about the opponent that we're facing off here for the audience.
Yeah, his name is V. Daniels. I remember when I was talking about him, I was like, I should cut a promo on him. And I was driving my car. And I'm like, V. Daniels. I'm like, hold on, there's like a code here. And there's, it's like a V, I. So that's like one of those like Roman numeral numbers.
Reminds me
So
of my math class in high school with the whole pie chart and Roman numerals and all that mumbo
yeah.
jumbo.
So for a minute, I thought I was wrestling like 6 Daniels, but it ended up just being the one Daniel. So it worked
Ah,
out. That was cool.
that was good. It would be better to wrestle just one than six, right? You can handle one, not six, you know.
Yeah.
And
Math.
obviously, you see you come out here and what do you go to these different places? And I never asked anybody this question, even though I've had some guys on in different places. What do you take away from going into these different places to help you go for the next place you go to?
What do I take away from it?
Yeah, so you wrestle in all these different spots. You're wrestling a guy like him. So what's when you go to your next spot, what's do you take away anything from it? They're all different settings. Do they just it's just another opponent, another place? Or I'm curious about that because you're a guy that wrestles and guys know you from this place and that place. And I was just curious about that for the audience.
I mean, I just try to be in the present, just be in the moment at the time, you know. So wherever I go, I'm there. I do my thing, and then when the time comes, I go to the next spot and do another thing.
Do you always feel like it's a first? Is it a first impression each time, or I was always curious.
Um, Not anymore. So that's cool because people are becoming more familiar with me and what I do. So that's really awesome.
That's got to make you feel good to go out there. It's got to make you feel good knowing that, people know you. I'm sure social media definitely helps. I mean, from when you first started out there, it was just a different world. I think the only way you might have known of, matches would maybe be through message forums or, the PWI and such. But now, people have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, your YouTube page. So that
Yeah.
definitely helps there a little bit. And, seeing some of the style that we have here in the match a little bit. Certainly every match is different, but I've been asking different guys this question, and I know you go into these different places. When you have a guy like this that I'm sure you don't have much familiarity with, do you prepare for the match beforehand, or what's that like? Do you guys just go out there and wrestle? I'd be curious on that because different guys tell me different things.
Sometimes it depends on who I'm wrestling. Like when I wrestled with Jacob Fatu, um, I kind of like knew his moveset from working with him at Major League Wrestling.
Yep.
So I was able to like, think of something to like tweak with that like days before. So I already like had something cool. Um, Usually it's just, I gotta see who I'm working with, how I'm feeling that day, and like what I feel like doing that day. Because I do so much stuff and I could do anything. So it's just what I feel like doing. And sometimes I don't know right away. I gotta like get in my zone. But then like doing a death match is a little different because I might like like yesterday is like, all right, well, I know I want to bring this tattoo gun. I've been planning that shit out for a long time. So I was like, I know I'm doing a tattoo gun, and then I set the top rope on fire. So I was like, I know I'm going to set the top rope on fire, and give the power bomb on the top rope, and then set out power bomb in the middle. And
Well, I'll tell you
yeah,
what's got to be easier about that is the crowd, no matter what's going to be into that. Some crowds are going to be, they sometimes crowds are tougher than others, but in those matches, the crowd's going to just be, they're going to be literally on fire as long as you're basically doing just one little thing. I mean, that's kind of cool in that aspect that you have a hot crowd figuratively and literally.
depends. It depends on how you work the crowd to make them really give a fuck about what you're doing at every second of the match, But yeah, it's making the crowd really care about what the fuck is going on. If they don't care about it, you could be doing the coolest shit in the world. They don't, they don't always fucking care. They've got to like care about the characters. They got to care about you, and that's what
Sure.
really gets them fucking hot.
And then that spot definitely, I think, got some of the crowd there very hot, and we could see
Yeah,
you
that
there.
shit was
Kind of,
fun.
that was a good move. I have to say that was a good move. There's a match,
Yeah, I haven't done that in years.
and you just pulled it off like you did it like 30,000 times.
Yeah, well, I did it a long time ago, like 30,000 times. Yeah.
Well, that's why you are the Tarzanian devil. And if you are out there on YouTube, go hit the sub button for me at Sportswire Radio 657. I'm almost at 1,000 subs, so I'm getting closer. So help me get there. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters. We are here with the one and only Tarzanian devil, the legendary Tarzan Duran, who's going to be wrestling coming up this Saturday against none other than Ken Anderson. He'll also be in the ring August the 24th against Drake Younger. So please go out and check Tarzan's Instagram and Facebook pages specifically for more information and all of that. And I'll come back to the comments as I see I got a bunch of them, but we wanted to show the audience a little bit of some recent action here. I'm curious on this, and I'd like to get your thoughts because I know a lot of guys that come on my platform every night. Do you have advice for guys that are working a live crowd for the first time, what they should do in terms of just how to keep a crowd into it, or doing whatever you could for your character to kind of, get over with that audience? Do you have an advice or two for that?
Interacting with them and interacting with them in a way that shows them your character. Yeah. And then, like a lot of times, people get quiet just because they're watching intently at times. And so then it's up to you to be like, hey, let me fucking hear you or whatever. Fucking get them back up before you fucking go into the next thing.
I hadn't thought about that, because a lot of times people think you've got to always have the crowd at every second, every second to be at the edge of their seat. But there are people that watch it. It's almost like, you play the guitar. It's like going to a show and a band plays, and there are some people that just want to hear the band play the songs. Other people just want to go in the mosh pit and just headbang it. So it kind of goes, both ways. I hadn't thought of it that way. It's a good analogy, I'm sure, for some of the audience.
I mean, it's hard to keep people at the edge of their seat for like 20 minutes, but if they really, really care about the wrestlers and the characters and everything, I mean, you can fucking do it, man. It becomes easy.
Well, you definitely find a way to do that for sure. And you have the helium balloon there, and definitely no, that's not the water balloons in my pool right now. That's actually you blowing up a balloon there. And I can certainly say this will definitely be an experiment at the expense of, well, Sixth Daniel, right? Balloon and, experiment. Kind of thought it'd be kind of handy there. And that was, quite a stomp. That was pretty clever, actually.
So yeah, dude, I tried to do that yesterday in a death match, right? But we already broke a bunch of fucking light tubes. So I blow up the balloon, I tie it up, and I fucking put it on the dude's chest. And as soon as I put it on his fucking chest, it just fucking pops because he has all this fucking glass on him. So I'm like, fuck. So I had one more balloon. So I'm like, fuck, I got one more chance. I go to blow up the other balloon, and then I go to tie it. I like put it like here to tie it, and it hits the glass on my fucking chest. So I'm like, all right, no balloons in the death match. Got it.
Well, it's funny you said that, because I have a lot of deathmatch guys that come onto my platform. Yes, Jimmy Controversy's been here 4 times. Mikey Anarchy's been here. Kato, Mac 10, Brian White. A lot of these guys have been here. Obey. I won't ask you anything about Obey because I'd be afraid he'd pull a gun out on my show again. But, I mean, has anybody... no joke. He actually, toward the end of the show, because he was going to wrestle Angel Santiago, probably not surprised on that, but he just all of a sudden just, kind of, I guess, lackadaisically just pulls out, in a relaxed mood, a gun. He's like, this is what'll happen. If anybody, messes with me tomorrow, I got my gun. And it was like, okay, whatever you want there. But has anybody ever tried a balloon stunt in a death match? I've seen a lot now. I've watched a lot of death matches now in this platform, and you have been the first to accomplish that, I think, right?
Well, I think yesterday I might have been the first person to use a tattoo gun on somebody during a wrestling match. Possibly. I might have been the first person to attempt using balloons in a death match too.
Wow.
I don't know. I've never seen anybody else. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. Somebody probably done something with balloons before.
Wow. I tell you what.
I mean,
well, you know what? You could be in the Guinness Book of Records. The Guinness Book of Records.
I mean, there's ideas, man. Like I could blow up a fucking balloon, glue like thumbtacks to it. You know what I mean? So there's things that you could do with balloons. Like I want to do a balloon death match. I did like a 100 balloon match at the Venom Pro Wrestling. So that was really cool. I guess like Al De Niro, but I want to do that again with like 300 balloons in the ring. Just like a balloon match. But then I also want to do like a death match that has more fucking balloons.
Well, you know
Hopefully
what?
maybe against like Dirty Ron.
Well, I think there are some people out here on this platform that wouldn't mind you doing that to Dirty Ron. But maybe you could, we should put you in like the Guinness Book of Records for that. The Guinness Book of World Records. We maybe have to do that because you're going to attempt this. I think there has to be somebody that goes into that. It's funny. I always think back. I got a Christmas gift one year. It was the Guinness Book of World Records as of like whatever year it was, and I remember looking at that. So maybe we could try that there for the first time. Let me get to some comments. A lot of people want to say hello to you while we're watching the match, and let me get to different people here. Also here, Omen Black wants to say, let's talk about you cutting that dude's arm almost in half. Do you want to bring that up? You have to bring it up for Mr. Boogeyman. You remember almost cutting someone's arm off?
I mean, legally, I can't say too much.
Okay, well, now I'll move on. But thank you, Omen. If there's anything less legal you want to bring up, we can certainly do that. And by the way, Chaotic just followed you. Thank you, Mr. Chaotic. I appreciate that. He also said that he loves what you do out there in the ring. And boy, I don't know how you pulled that one off there. And want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Mikey Front Row. He knows Mr. V. Daniel. He also says that's a guy. There's a lot of guys I should have on the show. Yes, there's definitely a lot of guys that I should have on the show, and maybe I will have him on the show for sure. That I will do that. Yes, Tarzan Duran is an amazing wrestler, and he's very talented. That's why we're very lucky to have him here on the platform. And I'm gonna, speed up the match a little bit because there's still a lot of things I got to get to here. So let me come. There was an attempted nice move, but let's come back to this here. We're closer to the end of the match now. So
hey, dude, I got time. I'm chilling right now, man.
No, I know, but there's a lot of things I got to get to. There's a lot of things on this platform.
Yeah, we got time. We'll nail them all.
This is not like other podcasts I've listened to you on, where the guy was like sitting there and he was stuttering and he was trying to figure out what questions. I've got my peanut gallery here, my people that have built this platform. They could probably interview you and do a better job than me. So it's different here on this platform, which is why I think you wanted to be here. But that's here nor there. But, obviously – you're wrestling and we're seeing, I think something that's about to come, which I really want the audience to see. This is going to be really interesting, but kind of nice tactic there. You took a little bit of a breather. How was the breather when you took it there just now? And then you're trying another trick. I see it.
Blowing the balloon. I'm taking a breather in the rain there, blowing the balloon. It's pretty cool.
Just like another day in the office, huh?
Yeah.
And poor
crawl back up.
Poor V. Daniel. He should have probably just stayed outside and took the count out. Took the count out loss. Would have probably been better for his, vantage point.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Now, this is where the fucking balloon becomes elusive. I don't think anybody saw this shit coming.
Did you see it coming?
No, dude. Look, watch. You see this fucking balloon? Watch it just keeps. You know what? I should have waited. I probably should have waited for it to stop. But it was just, bro, that was tough.
Unfortunately, one of those blooper moments. But that, what can you do?
That was a great one.
Well, I mean, I'm sure when we do our year-end show on Sportswire, somebody will bring it up. But, obviously, you still found a way to still do some wrestling here, and it's still pretty good wrestling. Although I think a lot of people were wondering where is the balloon, but that's okay. Well, I'm sure.
A little kid took it, but it's okay. We get it.
I see it right now. I see the kid took it. I see the kid. Memento. Maybe we can get the kid on Sportswire to give back the balloon. Or maybe not. But apparently Mr. Daniel got the balloon back. He did get the balloon back, and I'm not quite sure why he got the balloon back, but he did get the balloon back. And it looks like I think he hit you over it. I think he did. At least I think he did. I don't remember if
dude, did. when I cut JJ's arm with that knife, man, that's probably like one of the most like viral things that I've done. That was pretty cool.
Well, I would recommend you legally not talk too much about it, other than it was just something that happened in the ring, and especially on this.
I don't care too much. I mean,
with this platform, the word travels. There was something I said earlier on the prior show, and somebody got mad about it. It was a recent guest, and they took it into a whole nother thing, and it was a figure of thing, and guys, they get all their panties wet and such. But you obviously got the victory, and V. Daniel is definitely, let's just say he's, down for the count. He's looking at the stars, and you are definitely Tarzaning up as the Tarzanian devil that you are. And you got a big victory, to say the least. And I think you're about to do something here also for the audience. And there you have it. And there you go. And feels good to win there.
Yeah. I just
Congratulations.
haven't had this stick with me in like years and years ago. When I was
Oh,
like
I'm waiting
18,
for
I
this
would do,
moment. Now, this is the moment we've all been waiting
yeah.
for. This is the moment. Ladies
I
and
did this a
gentlemen.
few times in Tom's River in the past. Here we go. Oh,
Oh! There's some people I think on this platform that would probably say I should get that as well, but that's not the case here. But you definitely got a big victory. Congratulations there, and that might have felt more good than the victory, I think.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. I
Well,
figured, hey, it's a batch there. Might as well use it.
well, you definitely did, and I definitely want to get to some comments because a lot of reactions on that. And let's say hello here. Where am I at? Okay. Omen wants to say, damn it, I'm a huge fan of Tarzan. He wanted to know about the knife story. I think you got a little bit of a nugget on the knife story, and I think that's as
No,
far as.
we can go into the knife story. Let's do it. You want to do it? You want to do the knife
No,
story?
I would say no. There's plenty of other stories. You know why? Because this platform, I can promise you, it's not going
No,
to be like
we're
other.
fine, man.
No. I
But
got this. I got. All right, if you want to, you're Tarzan Duran. I would recommend not to because this platform, there'll be somebody. There's a lot of peanut galleries that
uh,
come here. This is,
so,
it's
dude,
the truth.
I pissed everybody off by doing that knife thing, man. Like literally everybody. Like so many names. Everybody was trying to figure out how I did it. Why would I do it? Like how could somebody take it that far in wrestling? And that's like one of the first big things that I did to actually like get people looking to see who the fuck am I. And everybody knew who JJ is. They're like, holy shit, like we know JJ is fucking crazy. And then they just see this guy put a knife through fucking JJ's arm. So they're like, holy shit. So yeah, that whole fucking thing was huge. But it
Oh,
worked out
yep.
fucking totally.
Well,
Eventually, I want to do it again.
ladies and gentlemen, I will say one thing on to advise it for out there. Don't try it at home. Whatever you're doing out there,
Yeah.
don't go out there. And, years ago, there was the famous story of the kid that gives his sister a rock bottom and she dies. I would say, don't try this at home, kids. Whatever you do, Tarzan is a trained professional
I think
and
that was
he's.
like a bullshit story too, by the way. I think that was like a bullshit thing. Like I think the dude just like beat the shit out of her.
Yeah,
They
who
blamed it
knows?
on wrestling. But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is what it is. But I got a lot of people that want to say hello. Let me get to them.
Oh yeah.
Tarzan and I met at JCW's Jersey J Cup because Mikey does commentary for Pro Wrestling Magic, which is owned by Steve Off, who I've interviewed Steve Off once upon a
Yeah, I
time.
wrestled Steve off.
Yeah, Steve
Beat
Off's an
his
interesting
ass.
guy. Steve's an
Yeah.
interesting guy. He was a WWE extra years ago. Actually, twice he was a WWE extra, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
no, I think I probably known him for probably about like 15 years.
He's
I
been
think I trained with him
wrestling.
like years ago at Body Slam Wrestling.
Yeah, you said you started in '06. I think if I recall
Yeah.
correctly, Steve Off started in like '08, I think, like '07, '08, if I'm not mistaken, Steve Off. He started right
Uh,
around then. And I got a good question though from somebody in the other side of the world who is one of my biggest supporters. And if I don't get to his question, he will literally take me off this platform. Mr. Luke Leyland, kind of like you, crazy, goes out there and fights whenever he wants. He's the only person ever outside of Africa to have fought in Dambe. Think of it like the African version of UFC with no combat gloves. Hey, Tarzan, what's it like wrestling with a cigarette in your mouth? Does it hinder your breathing at all for going through spots? That's what he'd like to know. It's a great question. I'm not going to ask it, but I'll let Luke do it.
all right. Yeah, so no, like I would never smoke a cigarette while I wrestle. I don't smoke cigarettes in general. But whenever I do the death matches, I'll smoke a blunt during the entire match because it gives me something else to focus on, man. You know, like in a regular match, I got all this crazy fucking shit that I'm doing, and the death match, I could just fucking sit there, focus on smoking my blunt, and just fucking have fun, have fun.
It relaxes you, It's a good relaxer.
Yeah. It just
My
worked out one day.
my dad's line when he was alive, he used to always say, "Well, I would smoke weed for one day of the week. It was because it would relax me. I go through all this stuff, and I close the door, and I just, I go out there, and that was my relaxer. And people, that's what they should do to relax. I personally have done nothing. All I do is drink big gulps, but that's a different conversation for a different Let me get to the people. He also said, I filmed that promo with Mittens for XVPW, Mikey wants to say, who I owe an appearance to on Sportswire. There's a lot of people I owe things to, but that's what Mikey wants to say. Remember you from that. He also want to get to my buddy, Mr. DG Colt. He says, hey Tarzan, protect my boy Brian Ginsburg, LOL.
Nice.
He's the
Yeah,
best.
I'm a kid. I'm gonna beat the shit out of Kid Osborne again very soon. I'm sure.
Well, I'll say I'll let him respond to that. Let me get to the more comments. People now are wanting to talk. Yes, what's up, Mr. Silver? Would you like to ask Mr. Tarzan anything? Also, Omen Black wants to say, Tarzan, one of these days when I get my training done, I would love to have the honor and have a match with you and earn your respect. That's good to know.
Nice.
Also, Silver Wolf wants to say, be my next guest on Dark Den. Well, I would say stick with us on Sportswire for now. We'll certainly say also stay tuned. Also, TNA Extra most recently. Was that Steve Off was a TNA Extra most recently? Definitely let us know. Okay, thank you. You know, I want to give you something. I want to talk to you about Jacob Fatu in a second. I have the matchup, but you know, I know everybody wants to, you know, just have you on their podcast and just have you come on. But I wanted to present something to you because obviously you've done so much for us. You've taken time out of your busy week. You're a man that's all over the place, and I wanted to make sure that you are recognized for all the things that you have done. And I'd like to put something up on the screen I've created specifically for you. And I want to thank you, my friend, because on this day and all of my platforms, my internet radio station, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all the other YouTube channels I own, I wanted to say it's Tarzan Duran Day. So basically, we're recognizing you. We're honoring you for everything that you've done for us in this sport, in this community. I'll make sure you get the certificate when we're off the air. And I wanted to give you my John Hancock, my logo, today's date. It's an official proclamation. I can almost be pretty sure and pretty confident saying that the podcast circuit, wherever you go, doesn't give you one of these, but it's different here because you're in prime time, and I wanted to recognize you, sir, for all that you do for us. So I just wanted you to have that.
Oh, yeah, thank you, dude. I appreciate that.
Well, awesome. You're certainly very welcome. I'll keep it up for a few minutes. Yes, Steve Off was an extra. Thank you for that. Yes, Steve Off, a man I interviewed 3 years ago. Steve Off actually might remember me, but because a lot of people remember me. Yes, thank you for that. Okay, so obviously we'll keep that up here. And I also want to say, in terms of just where you're wrestling on August 24th for a few minutes, talk to me about Drake Younger. Drake Younger, you're wrestling him for the first time. What can we expect there? I'm going to put that up on the screen as well.
I don't know. I mean, what's black and white and red all
over? Blood? You going to make him bleed?
A bloody Drake Younger. Yeah, he used to be a WWE referee.
I think I got the point. I mean, I think I did get the point. I mean, we're going to obviously see that for sure. Absolutely. I mean, you know, we're going to.
Yeah. But, yeah, not that. Yeah, it should be pretty cool. Yeah, he's one of the bigger names in deathmatch wrestling right now. And, yeah, it's been cool. I've been working a lot of, like, bigger names, name people like Super Crazy and whatever. I got, like, Mr. Anderson coming up. But, yeah, it's pretty cool to have, like, somebody, like, really big in the deathmatch, like Drake, have a match with him. So, I mean, we'll see. You know, it's local wrestling at the Houston Premier Center or the Houston Premier Arena. And it's called Dance with the Devil, so we're all going to find out if Drake Younger has the balls to dance with the devil.
You know, you said something interesting. We'll see how it is. You said something interesting, and I have the photo here up, and I'll come back to some questions in a second. But you wrestled now these different big names. Obviously, last year, Fatu. You mentioned Super Crazy. A lot of people remember him. Obviously, ECW, WWE for a little while, and obviously very renowned, respected wrestler for a long time. And you have Mr. Anderson coming up this weekend. Do you feel like your career is now where you're almost, I don't want to say moving up the ranks because you've always been known. You've been a known name, but like getting now to wrestle these bigger names, whether it's in the deathmatch world or just in the professional wrestling world in general, do you feel like your career is almost, progressing in a sense that you're actually now maybe starting to get from the overall pro wrestling world, like a lot of maybe bigger attention, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I picked back up where I left off a couple years ago. Yeah, I never ever stopped wrestling. There was just a certain amount of time for a couple years where I wasn't wrestling as much. I was maybe doing like one show a month, and just I was going through like harder times, and I was able to fucking like go through like all like rock bottom type shit, and fucking come up out of it, and and fucking I mean I don't know. Right now it's just like I got like my whole head in the game. Like I'm doing what I want in life. I'm doing what I want with my gimmick. Like I finally chose my gimmick and chose what I want. Fuck everybody else, and I'm just doing me. And that's what is fucking selling. It's weird right now too because there's like a lot of like there's a lot of like other like wrestlers or like promotions that think like oh like Tarzan's fucking crazy because they see me do like these fucking death matches. Yeah, I just worked with like another like WWE guy or a former WWE guy on Saturday, Andrew Anderson, and he was like after the match, he's like, "Oh shit, bro!" He's like, "Dude, I didn't know you fucking work like that, man." He's like, "Shit, dude, if I knew you work like that, like I'll give you like fucking big matches with like fucking names, like whatever the fuck, you know what I mean?" Like he fucking um, people think that like because deathmatch has gotten so many extra eyes on me. Some people think that like, oh, this guy's just like a deathmatch guy, but it's like, nah, bro. I've been doing this shit backyard since I was 14, professional since I was 16. Yes, that's like 18 years being a professional wrestler. So like, I could go out there and fucking do anything. Um, yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Do
yeah,
you feel like you're in the best frame of mind or the best position you've been in your career? Is that kind of a fair statement? If that maybe makes sense, I
yeah,
don't know. I
yeah.
don't know if you.
Basically, I got like a lot of like extra, like the extra negative shit out of my life that I didn't need and whatever. Yeah, things are going a lot better for me. So
I think we're all happy to hear that, and I think that that's great advice for people. You're taking care of yourself. You're doing things that, you want to do. You're doing the things that make you feel what you should be. And I think that we all can take that advice in life. And I kind of think it's similar what I've done here with this platform. And I got some questions. Let me come back to some people before we get to Fatu. Tarzan was most recently on GCW's Backyard Wrestling 6, which Sean Jovi mentioned. I wonder who he thinks from the backyard wrestling world should be on that show one day in the future. Same question to yours truly. I mean, that's up to I'll go if you want, I'll go first. I mean, I just had a guy on actually. Well, it's a couple guys that come to mind. The first one, we just had a guy on. You've probably seen him here and there. A guy, JB Havoc, who's actually learning to train. He is definitely one of those guys that kind of fits into that style a little bit. And another guy that you wrestled, actually, you probably heard of, named JJ Stevens. He's another guy that is training, fits into that vibe a little bit, that kind of style of pace. I think those would be two names that would come to mind. But what was same question to you? Is anybody? I mean, you're a busy man. I don't even know if you've
yeah.
watched backyard
Oh,
wrestling still. I mean,
well,
you're
I mean,
wrestling.
I told JJ Stevens that he needs to make his way out to like CCW to train with me because with his like size and what he can do, the potential that he has is a lot. Like he's got like he could do a lot of like Rey Mysterio shit.
Yeah. Yep.
He just does. Yeah, he just needs someone to show him how to fucking do all that shit and like have somebody to work with that could like do those types of things. Um, yeah, so he definitely has like a lot of potential, but he still has he has some growing to do. GCW backyard, like yeah, it's backyard, but it's fucking GCW fucking backyard. You know, this is like the best. I would have more eyes on maybe some people from like GTS, and even fucking like well, especially POR.
Oh,
Of course,
with the
like
following POR
Kamikaze
has. Yep.
and
Yep.
yeah, like JJ's boys. Um, but then again, they're like crazy deathmatch backyard. or whatever. I mean, they're ran. Both of those shows are ran more professional than like half the independent shows.
I was gonna say,
Anyway.
and that's why, like, I
It's
kind
like,
of like didn't. It's funny because I didn't really put GTS in that category because I look at the following of GTS, and you could throw guys, Mikey Anarchy. You want to go him down that route, or Gabe Sayers was here. Obviously, I mean, there's a lot of guys in the GTS world. I would throw Doc Holliday, but I feel like some of those guys in GTS have some form of training, or their show itself. I mean, they have a following. Some guys have a training, some guys don't.
Some of the guys has a training, and then some of the guys just like learned from like the other guys there or whatever,
Yeah, and they have a following, so I kind of omitted that, if that makes sense. The following is the product is what the product is. It's, I mean, it's.
Yeah, I mean, like some of them got some good training and stuff like that. So it's usually like we'll do like, or some of the guys would do training like before the tapings and shit like that.
Yeah, I noticed some of that because I obviously have gotten to know a good portion of those guys in GTS. Obviously, Rad Dad was here. Rad Dad certainly was the man from GBYWN, hosted that. And
he's awesome. Me and him had a lot of fun matches. And,
yes.
Especially for like GTS where we're like able to experiment and like use all these like fucking stupid little gimmicks.
You and him are like complete opposites, by the way, and gimmick wise. You and him are like the two like total opposites.
but he's not a dick, so we work fucking great together.
He's really, honestly, he's not. He's actually one of my biggest supporters, to tell you the truth. Rad Dad is a very big supporter of mine. I am really indebted to Rad Dad in many ways.
Every time I see him, I don't have my contacts in, so I always introduce myself to him again. And, I don't know. He thinks it's just a joke.
I think he needs to grow his hair back again. I'm not feeling the shorter hair.
I thought he still has it. I thought he had long hair, does he?
He cut it like it's like short long. Before it was long, maybe
we're talking about different people.
Kind of the same, but listen, you run into a lot of people. But yeah, there's no question that there's a lot of people I could think of. GTS. If I were to go just one more thing on Backyard, I would go some of the years ago the ESW guys, but the ESW today is not the ESW of yesterday. Want to say hello to a man that has a big following on TikTok. Maybe he can get you more followers on TikTok and Instagram. His name is James Taylor, my guest yesterday, who certainly the people were eating up just like they're eating up you. He says, hello, Tom and Mr. Tarzan. What's up, everyone else? And this individual wants to say, hello, Tarzan. Would you face Jimmy?
Jimmy Controversy?
I suppose. I mean, CH. I mean, you already faced him, though. You already faced him.
Yeah. I wrestled Jimmy quite a few times.
You wrestled him.
I blew fire in his face. One time I used a knife on him, actually. That was really cool because I used a knife on him. The whole crowd went quiet. This is before I did it at XPW. And then he runs to the back. And like the lady goes back there. He just starts taping himself up. And they're like, and they start trying to hold him back from coming back out to the ring. And Jim's like, no, fuck that. And he fucking makes his way back out there. Fucking jumps back into the ring. Everybody's like, what the fuck? Thinking like, people were like stopping people from calling like 911 to get an ambulance and shit. So that was, it was great. I experimented with putting knives through people's arms in front of people quite a few times.
You know who I'd like to see you wrestle? And I think I saw you guys on a vote somewhere because I was supposed to have him at some point. Judge Joe Dredd. That would be a guy I'd like to see you.
Oh, well, you know what? I wrestled him and I haven't seen it yet. I finally just saw me versus Ken Dixon. I still haven't seen a full match of me versus Rob Shit or Dirty Ron, all at XPW. But I did wrestle fucking Joe Dredd at XPW. They did it. It was like some type of like tournament, or it was a gauntlet.
Yeah, I saw that.
I
was wondering when, because I kind of saw that, and I was like, that's a guy that I actually would like to see you wrestle, because I was supposed to have him on the platform, but he realized he had tickets to a Yankees game, so he had to rain check. So
shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he lives in California, so he has tickets to a Yankees game.
So I'm trying to. So he was here, I think, in New Jersey. I want to say This had to have been like a month ago, just over a month ago. I don't know if
Yeah,
that was.
it's probably for the XPW show.
Yeah, when the XPW, this was the end of June, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but
This was
see,
the
like,
end.
so if you go to xpwstream.com, all those
Yes,
matches are on there, and they're fucking awesome. I mean, even like my match with JJ Escobar is on there. Where I put the knife through his arm and all that. My match with Soul Taker's on there, with Larry Legend on commentary, which is just the whole thing is just
amazing.
mind
Yeah.
blowing. um, yeah, and you can see the match with me versus Joe Dredd. I haven't seen it yet because I don't have money for XPW Stream right now. But
Well,
when I
somebody
do, I
out
mean,
there
I'm
who
sure
does have
eventually
PayPal, if you
I'm
want to
going to
buy
see it.
merchandise, do something to help our friend, definitely help him out. That would
But
definitely be, well worth the admission
when
there.
just earlier today, I looked on YouTube. That's what I'll do. Like every like month or so, I'll look myself up on YouTube, see if any new matches popped up. And somebody put a fan cam up of me versus Ken Dixon from the last XPW show. So that was really cool. But I want to see it with the XPW production because the XPW production is it's usually pretty good. Um, like 8 out of 10, you know what I mean? And the commentary is usually fucking always pretty awesome. So I want to like check that out,
The match you had with Escobar got like almost 5,000 views. Did you know it was going to get that many views because of the one spot, or you didn't think it
Dude,
would?
but when I put the knife through his arm, just the
Yeah.
clip of that shit went like viral as fuck on like Facebook. I think not as much on Instagram. I think on Twitter too. I think on Twitter they like took it off. Twitter they keep like X keeps
Dude,
taking all the
Twitter, you know
videos.
what? I just realized they actually tried to shadow ban my account, and I was like, why are they trying to shadow them? All I do is post like my videos to like my shows, and they claim like it was some copyright act. But I'm like, I don't post anything other than like I don't even comment on nothing. I mean, I'm like
Yeah.
really like, even with Facebook,
Well,
I'm not like, I don't comment on nothing. People are like,
yeah,
all you do is care about your podcast. I'm like, well, duh. I mean, that's what I
yeah.
do. That's what people. I have fans. People that they come here and this is what they want to see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, like when I did those promos for XPW, um, there's like the famous like blowjob promo, and then the other famous promo where I take a knife across a girl's throat with her tits hanging out
Yeah,
and stuff. And
yeah, I heard
I
about it.
put those on Twitter. Yeah, those, but they got like a shit tons of views. But I guess like now like people try to look back for them and can't find them. So I kind of like want to repost them on there. Those were some like pretty epic fucking promos. So like a lot of things I've been doing, I've been like pushing things, but like if you watch like the WWF Attitude Era and all like the shit, even in WWE and like AEW like shit nowadays, they still try to push things. If you don't push shit
Yeah.
and just constantly do fucking family
Oh,
shows,
I got to be honest. I
it's
mean, listen.
like where you going?
On a smaller level, on my platform, I bring guys on, and some guys are like nervous to talk, and they want to be here. It's lovey dovey, but the people don't want that. They want to see, guys like you and guys where they just talk and shoot on other people. It's just, the reality of it is, and
Well,
that's just
I mean, I don't shoot on no people.
no. You don't. I meant you being here is a big
Yeah,
thing. What
yeah.
I'm trying to say is a figure of speech. Trust me, you know. But let me ask you another question. You had that match with Soul Taker that got like 10,000 plus views. You know that match was gonna go and you get the kind of hits it did. I mean, I had to ask you that one too.
Um, I don't know, but I mean, I think that was like one of his favorite matches, man. And like that was like what I just watched it back, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh, actually, no. Last night when I was driving back from POR, I think I saw he like tagged me in it on Instagram, and he just posted the whole match on Instagram. So like the
Wow.
whole match is on there, and
Pretty
I was
cool.
with my boy Art1 from France. He's with me right now. So we were watching the whole match back. I'm like, oh shit, I don't even remember doing like half of these fucking moves, and like
Wow.
wow, like we like really like fucking did awesome with that match.
That's pretty cool. Let me get to some more comments before I ask you on Jacob Fatu. I know people are waiting on that. My buddy Il Drago, Samoan, obviously, I'm sure he's waiting for that moment all the way in the great state of Iowa. He says, how you all doing, Ooses? Another person from the other side of the world, my very good buddy, Mr. Big Cheese, the Tribal Cheese Logan. He was formerly in, I guess he's currently or still informally in CCW there. And he was just at the UFC 304 show all the way there in Manchester. Good evening, gents. He loves catching Sportswire when he can because he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of my favorite guys. Haven't spoken to him in a few weeks. Hope he's doing well. Definitely want to check in with him later in the week. Yes, Rad Dad is awesome. My buddy, Mr. Darkron, who was the host of Summer Bash in beautiful Bremen, Ohio, and he definitely checks in. He's also the newest member of ROEW. He would like to say hello. So I got to ask you about Jacob Fatu. Wrestling him, I'm going to put it up on the screen. I mean, did you know that Jacob Fatu was going to go to WWE when you wrestled him? I mean, you wrestled him. It was
No, yeah.
like 9 months later, he goes to WWE. Did you know, like, that was going to happen and such?
Totally, yeah.
What made him? What made him like you knew? Like, I mean, I know his work with Alexander Hammerstone. I actually know. I know somebody that wrestled Alexander Hammerstone, so I know like the whole history there. I heard things through the grapevine, but as an opponent, what makes him a WWE talent? As I put the matchup on the screen.
I mean, working with him was just really awesome. I mean, he's such a great dude, such like a humble, like awesome fucking person. Yeah, I mean, he's fucking killing it. I'm so proud of him that he's over. I knew he was going to make it to WWE like soon. I was trying to get more matches with him. I had another match with Jacob, and Dave Dutra was in the match also.
Okay, I heard the name. Yeah, I heard the name.
Yeah. Dave Dutra, he got added to the match like last minute, and it was cool. Well, it was like a day of. It was still an awesome fucking match. And then like I did like a bunch of shit with Jacob at like Major League Wrestling where I would like catch him for like dives that he would do and shit like that. And so like he eventually learned that he could trust me with that shit, and he wanted to see me work. So he ended up getting me booked with Oasis Pro out in California. And
There was a big crowd, a loud crowd. That felt like almost like a playoff game in sports. That kind of matchup.
yeah, a lot of his family was there too.
I could see that California, a lot of Samoans, San Francisco. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Dago knows a lot about that. He's a Samoan. He's even telling me, yeah, he was waiting for the Fatu talk. He probably knows Fatu for all I know. But boy, this just seemed a different. This just was like. I watched this match a few weeks ago, and I was like, boy, this was just like, this just felt different.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we didn't want to do, like bullshit like big man, little man story. Like so many people have to do that with Jacob. Like I wanted to fucking go to war with him in this fucking match.
Well, you're the Tarzanian devil. It wouldn't make sense for you to be the little man. You're the Tarzanian devil.
Yeah,
come on, let's go. Do you feel like in a match like this that you got to do different things that you normally don't get to do as with your character in the ring because of the opponent?
I don't know. I mean, like, I know I can basically do like any move and do like fucking anything with them. I think actually right there I kind of fucked that up, but. I fucking grabbed the rope instead of just like bouncing up. But yeah.
And there you got the chair. That was kind of handy.
This one backfires.
Well, you still had it. It was still handy at the time.
Yeah, Journey Fatu was on that show. I think also Tamiko.
Okay, yeah, I know her. I know her. Sure, a lot of people do. Did you feel like that being in an environment that was pro his crowd, did that also maybe challenge you as a competitor?
I mean, yeah, I go out there. I know what I'm going to do. I know I'm going to kill it. The more the crowd reacts, the more adrenaline I get to fucking go off of.
And we're watching the match here. If you'd like to watch more matches with Tarzan Duran, he is on YouTube at Death Riot 6178. Definitely hit the sub button for him, and you can watch some of his favorite matches, some matches he's uploaded to his channel. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally with all wrestling matters, and I'll be on here between 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time at midnight with the BTW General Manager RTG. So that'll be later on, but right now for the next little while or so, we are hanging out with the legendary Tarzan Duran, who's going to be in action, by the way, this coming Saturday against Ken Anderson. It'll be a real treat. We want to thank, obviously, Mr. Duran for creating this opportunity for allow us to speak with him. And also, he'll be in action August 24th with Drake Younger. But we're watching some of the match here with Jacob Fatu. Let me get to some comments while we're watching the match. Some people would like to say hello to you and such. First of all, my very good buddy, who's as big as Bigfoot. He's like 6'17" with a size 35 shoe. He's a TikTok influencer. His name is Big Man Cam, and he just was a little old corrections officer turned wrestler. He says, "What's up, guys? How's it going?" Also, he wants to add, he met Jacob Fatu. And by the way, he's friends with Mr. AJ Francis, by the way. He's very good friends with him. So maybe, you know what? Big Man Cam, maybe he can hook you up. Because you know what? Big Man Cam, he's friends with Mr. Francis himself. So you know what? If Big Man Cam really wants to make some big moves, some top dollar moves, maybe, you know what? Big Man Cam, you talk to Tarzan Duran and connect with Mr. Francis, and maybe, just maybe, your life could change. But until then, let me read this comment off. I met Jacob at WrestleCade last year to do a co-signing for my buddy, and he loved the poster. It was a custom poster, and he got all excited about it. I love and respect Jacob Fatu dearly. Yes, we definitely love Jacob Fatu, and I am a big Jacob Fatu fan. And I'm just as big a Tarzan Duran fan. Joshua Allen, my very good friend in Tennessee, for Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, the owner of a company with about 8,000 subs, says evening. He's definitely saying evening. Yes, hello, Zilla. Also, Il Drago in Samoan wants to speak to you in Samoan. Aiga, family means a lot to us, Us, and he loves the match. He calls it fire. So Il Drago, I'm doing my best Samoan references. So the Samoan community seems like they've gotten the word out because I got more comments. Let me get to a bunch of them here. They also said they don't call him the Samoan werewolf for nothing. Yes, they don't call him the Samoan werewolf for nothing. But you're doing pretty good in your own right, Mr. Duran. Chaotic loves the match. He calls it a fire match. It is fire. Yes, Zilla. Jacob Fatu is a great wrestler, and so is Tarzan Duran. Thank you for confirming. I'll connect with you, Tarzan. Is cool. I'll connect you, Mr. Tarzan, with Mr. Big Man Cam. Apparently, he might be able to connect you with another big wrestler to connect with. So, I'll take care of that later on. I'll make sure the introduction's made. But obviously, here, my buddy Atomic Titan is out there. He says hello on Instagram. Thank you. Also, want to say hello to a couple of people on X who just shared the show. I have to give them a shout out because they just shared the show. I am sure you've heard of Ice-T Curtis. Ice-T Curtis just shared the show. I want to say hello to Ice-T Curtis. And anything you want to say to Ice-T Curtis, or just let him share the show and don't mention him?
Me?
Yeah,
Ice-T Curtis.
He shared our show. He's from GTS. He just shared the show.
Yeah, that guy. I know that guy.
Yeah, that's what he. It's why I think he's watching on X, because I have a lot of people on X watching. But boy, that was a fire move right there, and that definitely looked like they put you down, but he's down from it. We got the 1, 2, 3.
Oh shit! Yeah, he caught me with the Samoan.
Yes.
Fucking shit. Yeah, I was going for the slingshot neck breaker again.
But well, he tried something, but he didn't quite finish it with it. But he's struggling. He's struggling. To quote Chris Berman, he's rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, fumbling, and he can't, get up. But he's trying. Yeah. But you're certainly, this guy. I like this guy. Jump in. Talk to me.
Like, one cool thing with this match is it was good enough for Jacob to show his family members at like a family gathering type of thing. And he said he left as left with like some of his like cousins or something as like one of like the Usos were fucking watching it. And I don't know, like a couple of them, they were like trying to figure out how I hit him with the jungle juice. Like they saw me do the jungle juice move, my finisher. They're like, how the hell did he do that shit? And I had to like play it back a couple times to like see how I did it. They're like, how the hell did that white dude hit you with that shit? How that little white boy fucking hit you with that shit? Like, goddamn.
Yeah, how did you do it? That's a good question.
Yeah, the sick fucking move.
Well, that's why you're the one and only Tarzan Duran, and we see Mr. Fatu is he's oozing up, as our Il Drago would say. He's oozing up, but you're gonna have to try to figure something out here quickly. But yeah, he's bringing the chair and he's not coming in to sit and talk to the crowd with it. Boy, those hits must feel different.
Yeah, and I was hoping to get one more match with Jacob before he went, but hopefully I'll get to work with him again soon.
Oh, I think you will. Listen, never say never. Never say never.
Yep.
Why not you? I mean, you just don't know. I mean, you've been going to a lot of places, and anything's possible out there. Listen, there's always somebody that will be out there. But that was a clever move there. That was using your veteran tendencies in the ring. That was a good veteran move.
Yeah, well, you know what, dude? At the time, I think I was doing GTS where I was wrestling entire matches. Well, not entire matches, but the beginning of matches while sitting in a steel chair. And so, like the first like 2 minutes, I'd just be sitting in a steel chair. And so, like, I don't know, I wanted to experiment and use the chair with Jacob. I was doing it a lot at the time. And then, like, even this thing right here is pretty cool. This is like the first and only time I ever did this. It's like a quick run.
Well, it was the thought that counts. But that was wow. I mean, that was definitely like when I watched it. Then I was like, wow, that's a pretty cool move. Do you invent some of these things on the fly, or is it just something you just when you do these spots, like because you do some really
Sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes like I just come up with like something that's like so cool on the fucking fly. Like the whole like off with his head thing. It'd be cool if I went for it right now. But no. Damn
What
it.
are things that inspire you to create your moves? What are things that inspire you?
Yeah, well, that's why I like training people and just being in the ring because sometimes just seeing somebody fuck something up could like created this move right here. I was training with the Maximos, and the Maximos were teaching somebody some shit, and the guy went for like a fucking headlock push off, and he fucking tripped. And I'm like, wait, hold up, I could fucking put me a headlock, and I pushed him against the ropes. I was able to do a back roll, and I was like right there for a back elbow or a cutter with the opposite way. Normally people do it this way, but how you roll back, it goes this way. And yeah, so and that's people love that fucking move. It's just like something that I technically made up that day by seeing that kid fuck up, and people think it's so cool. Like some people ask to use it and shit like that, and it became like cool enough that I like use it a couple times a month.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, I got to get to a lot of people who want to say hello here while we're watching the match. You got a lot of people who just want to come in and out and say hello. Big Man Cam will connect with you. Yes, I will definitely make the introduction, and I'm all about going up. He's really big, Big Man Cam. I'm just saying he's really big. He's got like a
Awesome.
size. He's like 6'17". So I'm telling you, yeah, I'm seriously. He's like 6'17" with the size 39 shoe, and he gave me a cameo. He's on Cameo, and he gave me a cameo. But I'll spare you the details on that for another time. But my friend Joseph Tibbs, who does some work for IWA Deep South, he does some work for them. He's done a lot of great work in connecting me to some deathmatch wrestlers you definitely know of, like Mikey Anarchy, like Jimmy Controversy, Mac 10, and others. And Jesse Daniels is tomorrow. He wants to say hello from Resurrection
Jesse
Wrestling. They had a
Daniels.
great show. Joseph Tibbs, a good man. He's a big man. He was Wicked J once upon a time, or still is. Let me get to a lot more comments. People are saying hello here. My buddy Ox McCoy, my very good buddy, who's bound in blood, reigns in blood, sends all of his messages in blood. That's really what he looks like. He literally eats, sleeps, and drinks blood. Wanted to say hi on his lunch break. He is one of my very, very good friends, and he is a part of the All Wrestling Matters Ultra Violent Tournament he sponsored and put together, and I have my name on it. And he wants to say hi on his lunch break all the way from Iowa. My buddy Jake Dvorak. I don't think maybe you've met Jake Dvorak. Jake Dvorak, UWF, just had his first match there. He's been around for a while and did a stint in ESW. He's pretty big. He's hardcore, and he seems to like me, I think, for now. And he just wants to say hello. And, he's got a lot of tattoos, and I'll probably join him in one tattoo soon. But he does want to say hi. Hopefully, Jake, you join the show. You're putting up more of a fight than anyone Fatu has come in contact with in a WWE match so far. It's a good point. It's a clever point.
That's the fucking best. That's the devil of wrestling.
That was a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. I mean, yeah, that's why I did say, Big Man Cam, in my intro that you were the reason, Tarzan Duran, that Jacob Fatu decided that he wanted to go to WWE because he knew if you guys were going to run it back, it was not going to be the same outcome. It was going to be just, what is going to be a lot different. And, but obviously, what a move here, boy. That was definitely, that was a nice little counter there. And we see him get up, and that
backflip.
Shit. That was really clever. I got to say, that was a great move. That was just fire.
Yeah,
sadly it is. Sad, to quote Metallica, sad but true. But definitely still a hell of a match. Just a hell of a
I hit him with a destroyer, a crazy fucking Canadian destroyer in this match. I hit him with a bunch of crazy moves.
And I want everybody, before we come back to this, I want everybody to hit your YouTube. So if you're out there right now, I got 60 people watching this, right? I got 60 people. So, and I want to say hello to the lovely Angie out there on Instagram, just tuned in. I want to say, if you are out there right now, I got 60 plus of you right now. Hit the sub button for Tarzan. You want to watch more of his matches, keep up to date, get the notifications, see him in all the great places. Hit that sub button for him. I don't want to see 177 subscribers. I want to see 200. I want to see 250. I want to see him get to 1,000 subscribers. I want to see him get to 10,000, because if you're watching, you got to go out there and support this man. He has been so generous with his time here tonight. So please hit the sub button for him. So thank you very much for that. Also, Tarzan Duran, WrestleMania 42 main event. You never know. You never know.
Oh, yeah, right?
You never know. Listen, why not? Listen, I mean, Jacob Fatu's in WWE. I mean, listen, you do the Maryland wrestling scene. James Ellsworth has 2 wins over AJ Styles. I mean, listen, his name, Ricardo Rodriguez, you're friends with. He does a lot of stuff in EBW. I'm sure you know the guy who runs EBW Pro, and he's got like 17 different names. I forgot which one it is that owns the company, but he does stuff over there, and you just never know. I mean, so anything's possible. Anything is,
anything is possible.
Let me ask you this question here, as we get into the remaining minutes of the show. What are some of your goals? Do you have any goals for the remainder of the year? I always ask wrestlers this question. Do you have any goals and such? As I put my light on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess basically. I mean, basically my goal right now would to try to get on somewhere on TV, and like, well, I'm sorry, I'm just a little lit.
It's okay. You're Tarzan Duran. You can say whatever you want here on this platform.
Yeah, but no, dude, like, hopefully I want to get signed somewhere. If I get like a little bit of time on TV, something like that, just so I could like just keep shit going, man. Because this is mainly what I do. Yeah, I mean, I mainly just wrestle. Like I'll do the lobster boat here and there, and I'm just wrestling right now. I'm wrestling like usually like 4 or 5 days out of the week, and now I'm like training like 1 or 2 days a week out again. So that's always good. I always like training. I wish I could train like every day. I'm just like older now or whatever.
Well,
but
you're doing the best you can. Listen, as long as you're enjoying yourself, long as you're happy, and I think you seem to be, pretty happy. I always ask people this question, and I'm just curious on what it would be for you. If you had 1 or 2 moments in your career that stood out most, what would they be?
I mean, probably that nice thing.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nice thing. I don't know so far what. I mean, there's those like crazy promos that I've done that nobody's ever done before. There's like the blowjob promo and slicing the girl's neck while she's naked and all this shit. Dude, I don't know, man. I just want to keep on just pushing boundaries and just like, just doing what's never been done before. Just pulling out crazy shit and just because I don't, like, well, once you think it up, you can make it happen. Even if it's something like crazy, like there's like steps to make it a reality. And like already, like just like yesterday, I was able to light the top rope on fire. That was so fucking cool.
Do you get
And we
a
were able
chance
to
to like rehearse that beforehand, or is it just like, hey, I'm gonna do it and it just happens?
I I had the people that I had set it up because I set it up during the match. Once we like went out into the crowd, and I started tattooing them all over the place. So once I started doing that, um, they were setting up the top rope for it. So then, I came back, I did it, and I learned something from it. So now the next time I do it, I'm going to do it even better. Um, so everything you're gradually building up, and like I'm constantly like learning and pushing different things that I could do. That's like one thing that I like really love, like fucking with like fire. Um, like DJ Hyde was even talking to me about fire the other day, and he's like I fucking hate using fire. He's like it's so uncontrollable. And just me, I'm like the complete opposite. It's like I love using fire because I feel like I'm in complete control over it. And it's like I don't go out there like a fucking dumbass with it. I know how dangerous it is, and so that's why I go out there as professional as I can. And I've talked to guys that are like former people like at different circuses around the world and stunt people. So I made sure that I know that I'm doing everything correctly. That I
That's
do.
pretty cool. That's pretty clever, and I put some of it up here on the screen that people can, see, what happened there, and I thought it was kind of clever. And there you are, and just what a beautiful snapshot there, and we could see, some of the stuff, and yeah, you definitely did some.
Go to the next picture on it.
Right here.
Where I powerbomb. Oh no, that's something else.
So right here.
Oh no, it was that, but that you had before. Yeah, right in the middle there, the green. Yeah, there it is.
Yep, the
Yeah,
tattoo gun, and it got a lot of
yeah, you can
lights. A
see
lot
him
of
getting power. That's like even that right there. That's his skin. Like that's like his whole head hitting that rope right there. Could you blow that one up?
I can try. Unfortunately, the best I can do is go like this or this
Yeah. Okay.
because I'm going to share my screen. It's the best I can blow it up. If I was on a phone, I could like zoom into it, but
Yeah.
since I,
I mean, you can still see just like how crazy that is.
I definitely wouldn't try it at home. I mean, you can try it.
Yeah.
You're the professional, but I thought it was a pretty good moment, and I think that's why I
Yeah.
watched it in the morning. I liked it, and we see it
Well,
all
I
pop
think I
up.
heard like Sabu or somebody did it in Japan a long time ago where they lit the top rope on fire and they had it lit during the whole match. And it became like so fucking hot and it became like such a fucking like an issue.
Well, I'm not surprised
Um,
Sabu did it. Listen, I'm not surprised if there's anybody that would not be surprised that Sabu would have done it. That would
yeah,
not surprise me at all.
I think it's Sabu. Somebody told me the story not too long ago, but if I don't hear the story like three times, I'll forget it.
Well, that's
And
like a
then all
lot
of a
of.
sudden it becomes balls Mahoney. You know.
Well, let's not go there. But I do want to say hello again to my friend Angie, who was watching. She didn't get a chance to hear the shout out. She is on Instagram, X Murder City X Maven X. She's a big fan of yours, and she's definitely watches a lot of the stuff. She's friends with Total Effing Chaos. I know I have Will from Total Effing Chaos coming on here. Thanks to Angie in a few weeks. She's very good friends with Ox McCoy, and she's definitely a favorite of mine on and off the air. So I definitely would like to hope that she's enjoying the conversation. And if you haven't yet, go please support Mr. Duran. Really looking forward to this match here coming up. Also excited to see him this Saturday against the one and only Ken Anderson. This man has done it all. The who's who of people that he has wrestled. I haven't even scratched the surface. We are so honored, so blessed to have him here. And if you are on Sportswire Radio, I'm here tomorrow with more hardcore and deathmatch wrestling. Jesse Daniels from IWA Deep South, also been in the Carnage Cup. He'll be here about 10:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll have D Savage, who's competing in the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament. He's going to be here tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Surprises then. And I'll also be here around midnight or so from BTW Wrestling, their general manager RTG. But please support Tarzan. And if you are out there right now, hit the sub button for me on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579. I'm closing in on 1,000 subscribers, so I've been pushing that. And apparently Tarzan, if I get to 1,000 subs, I get a tattoo, and people can come on to Sportswire and roast me, kind of like Tom
Can I give it to you?
There's a lot.
I'm not a tattoo artist, but I just tattooed a guy in a match the other day.
Well, you never know. I don't know if I want to get tattooed in the ring. I'm sure Big Man Cam would like me to get tattooed in the ring, but yeah, I mean, you never know. But I am going to get roasted. You want to roast me on the air? There's a lot of people that want to roast me when I get to 1,000 subs, and I'm not that far away from it. So, I'd like to say if I get 1,000 subs, Angie could go out on a date with me, but I don't want to push my luck too much. But 1,500 subs, I do a rap song. 2,000 subs, people guest on here for a week straight. So I'll get to all these.
All right. Well, hold on. What about like 30,000 subs now? Like tattoo like Tarzan on your ass.
I don't think I'll live to get to 30,000 subs. You really think I'll get to? I'm only like 800.
I mean, that's a great incentive, right?
But do you think people are going? I mean, will I live to 30,000? I mean, I don't know.
We could do it in a ring.
I'll tell you what. If I get to 30,000, I'll just do Tarzan as a tattoo. I'll get a Tarzan tattoo with 30,000.
No, I gotta do it. Tell you what, I gotta do it in the middle of one of my death matches. So you
really
come over, it'll be another match. I'll beat the shit out of the guy. I'll put him in something. Yeah, I'll put him in like a submission thing in like a chair. I'm like, hey, come over here. And then I'll have you like bend down, like hold the chair down while I tattoo your ass. I'm like, yeah, and then I go off and grab him.
Well, how about I just give you a donation to PayPal instead of 30,000? Can I give you like $500?
Yeah.
How about I'll tell you what? You get me to 30,000 subs, I'll give you $500. I'll donate $500 to you. You think that's a better deal? Because everybody can use the hard-earned cash. I mean, I'll give you $500. I'm due so with 2,000.
But I think people want to see you tattooed on the ass.
I don't. Well, Angie might be watching. Might be a lady out there that might want to look at me. I mean, they don't want to look at me much right now, but I'll tell you what. If I get to 30,000 subs, we'll do something Tarzan related. But I got a long way to go to 30,000. I mean, I got a long way to go to 30. Jimmy Controversy doesn't.
Let's get it.
Jimmy Controversy doesn't even have 30,000. He's only at like 10. I mean, more people know him than me. He's at 10,000. I don't even have.
How many do I have?
200 almost.
Wait, on what?
On YouTube. Your YouTube says.
YouTube. I don't use YouTube like that. All right, yeah, never mind.
That's why I said. See, that's why. But I'll tell you what. I'll actually. You know what? I'm gonna make. I'll do something Tarzan. Hillbilly Tilly wants to see it, but I'll tell you what. I'll do something better Tarzan related. When I get to 3,000 subs, I will donate money to you. I will give you a substantial donation. How do you think that sounds?
Dude, that would be fire.
All right, so you know what? I'll tell you what. And I want the audience to hear this. When I get to 3,000 subs, I will donate to Tarzan. I will give him a substantial donation. Now, that I think is because that can help Tarzan get a match with Jacob Fatu. That can help with some artwork, some designs. I think that now I see the numbers going up. All of a sudden, people are like, oh, boy, he said this now. Yes, I will give a donation. Because 3,000, I can get to 3,000 subs because I'm going to get to 1,000. I'll get to 1,500. I'll get to 2,000. But, now I see that. What have you brought for the audience there? What have you brought for us? Off the screen. What do you got for us?
I had this near me. I didn't really get to use much fire the other day. But there's like a little fire. There's a little fire thing that they call fire eating. It's up here. I don't know.
You should come out to the Pitbull song. I'm a fireball. Dun, 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 dun. Boy, wow. You know what? Ladies and gentlemen, Tarzan Duran is putting fire in his mouth, and he's just almost, it was like lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Boy, you know what? Sportswire Radio is we've really got it all. You know what? There you go. And you know what? Also, Hillbilly Tilly said that when I get to 5,000, you should smoke weed with Tarzan. I don't smoke weed, though. Do you want me to die on the air? I don't smoke weed, but I tell you what, I'll get to 3,000 and I'll bring you on. I will give you a donation on PayPal, a big one for 3,000. I'm gonna get to 3,000. 3,000. I'm gonna get to because I already got like almost 500 this year alone, and I've been pushing YouTube just the last like year. So we'll do that. How did that taste for you, by the way? How'd that
Not
taste?
too bad. Not too
Yeah.
bad.
Maybe you could do like marshmallows, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Ever try like the s'mores with that smoke?
Yeah, yeah. Dude, sometimes like I'll like blow the fire. I'll set up all the sticks and I'll blow the fire to catch it. Dude, so I want to
Hillbilly
do that in a
Tilly
fucking
loves it right
wrestling
now.
match.
He said,
Yes.
what you said? You're what a guy to smoke with.
Yeah, dude. Not so. I have I tried to do it at one of the POR shows, but the thing that I used it broke too quick. But basically, I want to put all the sticks together, and I want to use a torch, and I'll blow the fire, so I'll create a fresh fire, and then boom, like take the guy, and, like power bomb or I don't know, or something, or like whip somebody into the fire
Well, there's people I know out
or
there that watch my
whatever.
shows every day that would love to see that happen to me on many of the things that they've said. Angie wants to say that you are the best barricade walker. Why are you such a good barricade walker? She wants to say she didn't want to put it in the chat, but she wanted me to tell you that you are the best barricade walker.
All right. So secretly, I could stand on the top rope. I could walk from one turnbuckle, stop, walk to the other turnbuckle, stop, go to the other turnbuckle. And I always fuck up getting to the fourth one. So because I can't get to that fourth one, that's why I don't do it live yet. I just do the couple steps and whatever. And whenever there's barricades, I love walking on a barricade. That's what it's cool. Nobody else walks on barricades right now.
No, not
So,
right now. Not
once somebody takes it on like AEW or WWE, I'll probably stop doing it for a while.
Well, I could see AEW. I don't know if WWE, but maybe when they go to Netflix, AEW, I could definitely see AEW doing it. I think.
Well, yeah, you can't do it on WWE. They don't have guardrails. So fuck it.
No, AEW, I could definitely see it on AEW. I could definitely see that because they have a whole bunch of shows. Also, Hillbilly Tilly wants to ask, how did you learn to do those fire tricks?
By working with the world's most dangerous stunt crew, who I will be performing with. I'll be fucking around with them. They're mainly going to be doing the crazy ass stunts, but it's going to be at the Gathering of the Juggalos, which is coming up. What is that, like August 13th to the 17th?
Oh, I wonder
And
if you know the deathmatch juggalo, Brian White. He's in with all the juggalos.
yeah, of course I know him.
Brian White, sadly,
you
heard about his mother, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
I had him on here. I had him on here a month ago. Very, very sad. I'm praying for the deathmatch juggalo.
Yeah.
You must have been happy he beat Jimmy Controversy, by the way, a few months ago.
Yeah. But dude, well, yeah, the Gathering of the Juggalos, man. That's JCW Juggalo Championship Wrestling. So I'm going to be heading over there. So hopefully something cool is going to go down at the Gathering of the Juggalos this year, and also of course the world's most dangerous stunt crew. So I think like every day there, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'm going to be doing some crazy ass shit.
Well, we look forward to all of that here. And before we move on to a few final things, if you want to follow Mr. Duran, that's all his platforms. Check him out YouTube, check him out Instagram, check him out Threads. He's going to be at a number of places coming up August 3rd, August 24th. He was just on POR show. You've seen him in Pro Wrestling Venom, GTS. You've seen him in UWF. You've seen him in just so many other places. You're going to see him coming up against Ken Anderson. You're going to see him up against Drake Younger. And stay tuned for more details. He also does training in CZW. Want to thank Mr. Duran for all the great things that he has done here for us. And he is truly an inspiration. He's definitely, I think, one of the guys that's definitely innovative and changing the game 1,000%. I got something else here from Joseph Tibbs. He says, is the ultraviolent... Now, I have a question. Now, we have this thing coming up, this ultraviolent All Wrestling Matters tournament. It's in Palo, Iowa. Now, I am sponsoring it. It'll take place July 5th to July 7th next year. I know you're a very busy man, but Mr. Tibbs would like to ask on my behalf, thank you, Joseph, for actually doing my work. You should be interviewing Tarzan rather than me. I told you you get a lot of comments tonight, but, I mean, would you have any interest in competing in tournaments like this? I'm sure they could pretty much just give it to you and hand it over to you, if you'd like to compete in it, I'm sure we could make an exception.
Yeah. I'm always interested. Yeah, we can always talk about it.
Oh, I can definitely connect you with the man behind it. I can certainly connect you with Mr. McCoy and Mr. Patrick. I'm sure Mr. Patrick will definitely, be able to, I'm sure have a conversation and, talk to you about that next year. We got plenty of time, and I think a lot
Yeah.
of friends of the platform will be a part of it. I think
Yeah.
that,
You said Iowa, right? Like
yeah.
that's where like Slipknot is
Yes,
out of.
they're in Palo, Iowa. The guys in the IMF. That's their home base. They actually their show coming up 2 weeks from Thursday. They're doing it. Well, it's 2 weeks from Saturday. They're here 2 weeks from Thursday. They're doing it. They're actually a part of a parade. So like where they wrestle, like in their town, they're like known. They're like celebrities kind of. So they actually have like a nice little following there. So like you go there
Nice.
and you know I'm sure that they could arrange it. I'm sure that Mr. Patrick could definitely have a chat with you about that. I'm sure I could make his
Awesome.
day, and I'm sure Mr. Big Man Cam is going to connect you with that special friend of his. I'll take care of that as well, for sure. After we're off the air soon. So yes, thank you, Mr. Tibbs, and I'm sure I'll ask Mr. Jesse Daniels that question tomorrow on the show. All right, so let me ask you then a couple questions. In terms of, you have any advice? Any advice for? I have a lot of backyard guys that are here that watch these shows. They're in. I'm the voice of the backyard and the underground circuit. You have any advice for them?
Try to find a school that you could go to that's run by somebody that like used to be in WWE or some shit.
Okay, good deal. I think that's pretty fair. You have a funny story about Angel Santiago or Gabe Sayers by any chance? I have to get their names in there. You have anything you want to share on them? Anything you remember about them, just so I can kind of make their day, or at least Gabe's day, because I kind of owe Gabe.
Angel Santiago.
The guy you basically beat up and
Yeah,
ran away from in GTS.
yeah. Um, no. Like just the last thing I remember with him is him and the other Angel guy like basically jumped me and like threw me in that
Yes.
casket to try to like UPS me back to the jungle. And ever since then, the Tarzanian Devil hasn't been seen on GCS. Apparently, the word is that he went to another dimension because he found a quasi cube in the jungle, and now all these other dimensional Tarzans are popping up on GCS. There's just like this fucking King Tarzan, the 69th was over there. There's like the Professor Tarzan, who's not even a wrestler, and they made wrestle in a fucking match. There's Tarzan in a suit who's like this fucking mobster Tarzan. I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on. This shit's fucking crazy over there. But
I need a scorecard to keep up with all of it.
yeah, I know, it's insane. But apparently, Grim has to summon the Tarzanian devil back to this dimension. So I don't know when the hell he's going
Well,
to ever
Graham's
do
got his
that.
own problems. He's got female problems
Exactly.
right now. I'm not even going to go there, by the way. I don't even
Yeah.
want to go there with Grim and his female troubles. Okay, well, I appreciate that. I want to ask you two more questions. I have one question. You kind of alluded upon it, but is there one place or one particular, whether it's region, country, is there like one place you'd like to wrestle you haven't yet?
You asked me that before.
So somebody asked promotion. Is there like a country or a
Oh.
state that you'd like to wrestle that you haven't? Yeah.
Um. Well, I was supposed to do something in Japan. This month. For a couple weeks, but it didn't work out because I got my passport back a month late. So I mean, I'm kind of hoping to go to Japan or
That's a
something.
good one.
So hopefully that could work out.
My friend Dean Allmark wrestled there, who did a kind of like you, UK, another Martin Kirby type. He did like, I think, one run there, maybe one run years ago. So that's a good one. Guys want to go there as a bucket list. My last question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say like Necro Butcher like really thinks I'll do well in Japan. And he's like really pushing for me to get out there.
I mean, Madman Pondo made a career over there. I mean, Madman Pondo was a huge deal over there. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
He's the man.
legend.
He's definitely the man. And I believe he's in the CCW Tournament of Death.
Yes, I did see that. Yes.
I'm in that as well. I mean, there's a lot of other crazy people in there like JJ Escobar. So I don't know who I'm wrestling yet, but yeah, it's definitely going to be something to tune into this year.
Oh, I cannot wait for it. It's going to be lit, figuratively and literally. You can obviously check the CZW pages there. Tarzan does so many great things for them, and I'm looking forward to all that. I'd like to ask you one final question, and I can't thank you enough with your time and everything you've done for us here on this platform. But is there anything you want to say to any of your fans out there? Anybody hearing you for the first time? Any final words for them?
Yeah, yeah. Stay tuned,
Love it, love it.
motherfuckers.
Simple, straight to the point. You can't ask for anything better. And I want to also say hello to Orchard Harper Woods with blood drips there. There's the blood drips from Orchard Harper Woods, just to blood drips. Well, thank you, Orchard, for giving us the blood drips. And yes, he definitely likes to make people bleed, and he definitely is a game-changing, innovative pro wrestler. And Orchard, if you're here for the first time, I would really appreciate it if you get that sub button for me and hit it, because I'm trying to get to now 3,000 subs. Because if I get to 3,000 subs, now I give a donation to certainly of Mr. Duran's choice, which will be to his PayPal account. And also, if I get to 2,000 subs, you can basically take over Sportswire Radio for a week. I'm going to let people take over for a week, and they can, guest and roast me. And 1,000, we're doing a roast for me. I'm almost at 1,000. So if you'd like to hit the sub button for me, you like these shows. I've interviewed Jimmy Controversy here 4 times. Mikey Anarchy's been here. Jesse Daniels is here tomorrow. If you like deathmatch hardcore wrestling, Hardcore has been here. Speaking of people who wrestled, Man Pondo, Obey has been here. Brian White, we just mentioned. Cato's always here. Cato was just watching the GCW show down in the Midwest, and a lot of great guys. Please hit the sub button for me. All right, I appreciate all the time you've given us. I can't wait to see what you do coming up here this Saturday. Before we go, I'm going to put up your Instagram so people can go check you out. I'll definitely connect
Hell
you
yeah,
with
dude.
Joyce.
Yo, people could also find my music too. I got like random music on like Spotify and like Apple and like a whole bunch of different streaming services under Randy Christie. And and then yeah, man, Instagram, Facebook under Randy Christie. And yeah, man, let's stay kicking ass, bro.
Absolutely. Amen to all of that. Let's keep it going. It definitely was a lot of fun. It was a tremendous honor tonight to have you on this platform. Get in touch with this man. Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Facebook. Please go out there and support those that are all wrestling matters. This man has been doing it. He wrestles almost like Baskin Robbins, all 31 flavors, and does a great job at all of them. That's his story. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. And again, if you're on YouTube for the first time, please hit the sub button for me. I want to thank everybody that shared the show tonight. I want to thank everybody that's tuned in. I'll be here around midnight or so, New York time, with RTG, the general manager of BTW Wrestling. I want to thank the BYW Hub on Instagram as well for their support, and also everybody that's tuned in. And we are here, remember, in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters, Sportswire Radio. And it is officially Tarzan Duran Day, and we'll definitely look for more of that. And until then, I'll see everybody in a little while on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all wrestling matters.